Okay, sorry about that. My last statement got cut off, but I was also on 264 yesterday, I think, right? And that shows down here, right? Which is Impact, right? And then Vice, and then History, and I remember that. The two I don't remember are 3 and 9, right? And why I went to there, right? It should be in order 265. Now it's on 35, which it should have been on 35. Alright, but it was on 9 this morning, right? Then I did the recall thing and it went to 3, right? Then I did, put it on 35, right? Going over the, And today on Steve Wilco, he makes me have sex with his friends. He gets by with sex with his friends. Uh-oh. That ain't normal. But don't judge. At least he be judged. Right. So this is about molestation, right? Just like, right. Now, this is not, like I said, the first talk show host. By far. There was first Jerry, right? And he's doing all kind of weird stuff, right? But again, I don't judge the show, right? It's entertainment, right? I either watch it or I don't. You see the difference, right? Now, I don't know if it's made up or real or right, but I know it can't happen, right? What they're talking about too, but I don't get involved with it personally. Now, I don't try to sleep with my sister or my mother or my aunt or my uncle or my, cousin's wife or, right? I don't try to now, right? At all. But now, the question is, did 2 people change the channel? 1 or 3? Right? I don't know, right? See, when I went to sleep, it's normal, 35, right? But when I woke up, it's 2 different channels, 9 and 3, right? Boo. One channel I would understand, maybe I did something with a remote in the middle of the night and turned it on and off real quick. I don't know, right? It's not impossible, but, right? Usually, like I said, if I'm on the bed, see, this can be a block, right? Maybe. Right. But then you would have to turn it on, right? It's taking a minute, right? And you see what I mean, right? Hit 3.
And if they're, a reputable company, they may be willing to do that. How many places have you seen where you went into the construction?
Well, I like Asian girls. I didn't know there would be one on TV. Right.
Topic, social security scams. I feel like we've been talking about this for decades, but they've gotten savvy.
And then on 9, right?
Things. Dirt. Maybe if you got dirt from the basement.
And Curious George, right?
Indoors.
Now, I can also hit 2.
The first thing they're going to do is they're going to call you. They're going to try to say, hey, to qualify for these benefits, we just need a little information. We're going to need your social security number. We're going to need, your banking information. Hang up the phone. The government is not going to call you, and you don't have to pay to get these benefits, and you certainly will never have to go somewhere to wire money to the government or to pay via gift card. Those are all red flags.
So
Run, don't walk away.
It's so important. Also in the news, student loans and the student loan forgiveness program. How are scammers taking?
So today they're warning us about scams on today, right? Right. Let's see. Curious George, right, is... Uh-oh. That ain't right. Okay. Hold on. It's still on today. Waters... Gee... Daddle... The Greenhouse Effect, right? It's season 13, episode 11, from January 16th, 2021, right? Now, what I'm telling you, though it's the Seven Seals, right? We've been sinning against it, right? When Emperor Constantine came along, right? And changed everything, right? See, the Gnostics are the ones telling you the truth you can't see about the interaction with the serpent, right? They're telling you something, right? Not how God saw it, but how the serpent saw it, right? But why don't you want to understand that's the mind of Satan, and you need to do it to guard yourself against it, right? See, Satan sees us as the bad thing God made, right? And himself in this terrestrial form. See, it's not the celestial form he really has a problem with. It's the terrestrial one, right? By the way, it's when they became human. On the third day, it's my theory, because that's when the trees were being planted, right? Okay, do you understand what I mean? Right? We got trees all over the earth. How they get there? Right? Did something plant them one by one? Yeah, it did. It's called terraforming the planet. If you're gonna make a creature that breathes oxygen and a tree that produces oxygen and takes in the carbon dioxide that the creature breathes out, right? You gotta plant the trees first. All over the planet. You notice there are some deserts with a horse with their name. Yeah. But they weren't necessarily always deserts either. They became deserts after the fall allegedly happened, right? So what's 20,000 years maybe to God, right? We don't know. But if you understand what I mean, right? Could you terraform the planet, though, in 1,000 years? Scientists? Right? Christians? In other words, plant all the trees again, right? See, that's the first thing you need is the grass, the trees, the fruit, right? For the creature to eat, right? Right. Even vegetables. And again, Skinner. Another show with the Skinner. And again, right? But when you're controlling something, it's obvious you want people to go to you to get your permission to do it, but you don't give us a really way to do it, do you? Right? That too is a catch-22, right? And the thing about a voice is, if you're an impersonator, you don't need no one's permission. You can do it under fair use and teach how to do it, right? You're forgetting that little faux pas about the little, copyright law, right? We learned this in school, by the way, right? In Georgia. I'm sure they did it in California too, right? The difference is FBI's acting so hard-ass, right? Ass hard, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? About it, right? They're not following the rules themselves of fair use, right? They can't do that, right? See, then you're favoring the artists over the poor people who have to use fair use, right? Don't have the money to copyright anything, right? Not even their own material on YouTube, right? Which is why NBC could claim the copyright, but I couldn't, right? But they didn't do it how I did it, right? From low C all the way up to 3 C's above middle C, right? See, the technique is, yes, voice, high, low, all the way, right? In the scale. But I learned that in school, and I did it differently than one of Fallon's sketches where they're kind of doing the same thing, right? And I think Elijah Wood was also part of that night's entertainment, right? And they were doing octaves, right? One time. But not how I did it, right? They were more in the upper register. I started lower all the way up the higher, right? And then when I got past the third C, right? From lows 2 C's below C, right? Which is where the 5-octave piano started, right? And that's the whole point to everything, right? Yeah. Now, even with the TV, I know when I change something, I know when I don't, right? Even with the cigarette butt in the house, I know I don't smoke cigarettes, so I didn't bring it in the house. And the only person who did was out the house over 2 years when that happened, right? And that would be who? Amanda or Mike, right? So either someone who picks up cigarette butts, like Thomas Barbie maybe, could be a culprit then, but I don't know, right? Now, anyone who smokes, though, right, could have brought it in, Bugatti or Renee, but I don't know, right? Cigarettes. By the way, if you smoke cigarettes, right? But I know I don't smoke, right? There shouldn't even be a cigarette butt in my yard, and I even found one in the yard, and again, right? Why do you think the police are acting weird, right? When you involve other people, though, it becomes a conspiracy. A real one. You even tried to call the police. Yeah, I told you that too. That means there's corruption in the police force, right? See? And that's why some people want to defund the police, right? Some people want to put the money where it could be of better use. That's what they mean, right. Because you're corrupting yourselves from within, right? And when you do that, everything the people work for to make a good police department falls apart, right? Now, another thing is, like I said, right, it ain't that they don't need the proper funding either, but too much, right, in the wrong area, I know, don't help nobody, right, but gets them kind of power hungry, right? And when they're power hungry, they make mistakes and won't admit it, right? That's why the wreck with the bus isn't my fault if you understand what happened, like I said. When you come out of Publix, you have more room to pull into the middle section than you do out of Rice Creek, right? Plus, the bus has to go straight, right? I can pull out so far and stop and still be in my lane, in my turning lane. Everybody does that when they're turning left, even at 30, right, to 21, right? Though you have less room to turn, right, you still pull out, right, so people can turn, right, and go straight until you can turn yourself, right? That's standard when you turn left, right? I'm not doing nothing illegal and she swerved into me, right? And you know she did, you know she did. And the officer knew she did. But what can I do about it? 3 years later. I know. Keep saying the truth, keep telling the truth. Even if it don't change anything, so it don't happen to someone else, right? It doesn't happen to me, right? Right. Can't do nothing about that, right? Same with Rinkin and the stop sign there, right? When you can stop 2 car lengths behind the stop sign, it don't mean you want to stop, right? You stop where you can see the officer, right? Or someone coming or not, right? And then you just punched it from there, right? When you saw you could go, right? You still followed the law, right? Yeah. Yeah, people do that sometimes, right? When they're there, you know, it's late at night, there's not a lot of people on the road, you see only one car about 1,000 feet away, right? Right. And when the lawyer asked, were the trees too far back? I said, yeah. They were kind of grown up, right? Plus it was in August again, right? Right. See, that happened first and then the wreck, right? By the way, right? And that was still 2019, right? And it was still summertime, so the trees could have been grown up with foliage and stuff like that, right? But I could still see the person coming towards me. What I didn't know is it was a police officer, right? Again, abuse of power, right? Is where I did something illegal, stopping behind the stop sign, but I was a car length behind it, right? The person coming, well, that's a police officer. I wouldn't have gotten in trouble either with it. No. But if it's a police officer and I punch it, right, he's gonna think he's running the stop sign, right? No. I didn't, right? Now, another thing about traffic tickets, right? You're guilty until proven innocent, by the way. You either plead guilty with an explanation, right? But you gotta plead guilty, right? They don't let you plead innocent, right? Why not? Why not? You're messing up traffic laws then. It's the same law, right? I have a right to be presumed innocent, even of a traffic violation, even with a radar gun, right? Okay, but this is a stop, right? Where there's a long area behind the stop sign, right? Where I could have stopped and you not see me stop, right? That's what I'm telling the judge, right? But you can stop 2 or 3 car lengths behind those stop sign, right? I told you that too, right? You ain't got to be right up on it to see if someone's coming, right? And then you're still stopped, but you're not right on them, right? But you also don't know it's a police officer, but right, you're not breaking the law by starting from where you stopped, right? Right. You did stop, right? Right. That's what the stop sign is for, right? Even if it's a car leaves behind it, right, and the trees are blocking the views of the officer, right? And when the DA asked me, "What did the foliage grow up?" I said, "Yeah, probably, right, where I stopped, right." Oh no. I told him, yeah. I told him, yes. It had grown up a lot, right? So I wasn't doing that wrong, right? But I also couldn't tell them the truth, and I told them the truth, and I did not plead guilty. I pleaded not guilty. See. And technically you weren't guilty, and I wasn't guilty. I stopped behind the stop sign. Right. A car leaves behind it, right? Means what, right? When you can stop 2 car leads behind it and still come off of Lisa Road or whatever you call it, right? From the Huddle House, right? And then you got the 2 car leads behind the stop sign, right? You can stop behind the stop sign, right? After you come off the road, right? So it's about 30 feet you can stop, right? 25 to 30 feet, right? Somewhere in there, right? So was that wrong of me, right? Or I didn't know it was a police officer, or, right? I didn't stop, right? But I was still behind the trees, but not stopped behind the stop sign, right? Exactly, right. Well, like I said, either 3 women came by, 1 or 2, right? But the channel went to 3 and then 9, right? The last one was 35 and then 265, right? So why is it on 3 and then 9, right? And on the remote, these are on the other side, right? Here's the 3 and the 9, right? You see, if it's up towards my head, right, those aren't the channels I'm going to change, right? Or even hit necessarily, right? Unless, right, the person who was here is leaving a sign they were here, right? In case I'm being blacked out, which is what we're doing there, right? The person who came by put it on 3, right? But if another person came by, they could have put it on 9, right? And then if I'm blacked out by both, right, a third person could have come by even, right? And I not remember them, right? At all. We didn't change it at all, right? Possibly. I don't know. But I'm not trying to cheat on the 3 person or the 9 person, or if there was another person, and we didn't even mess with the channel, right? But I gotta be blacked out after the 3 and the 9, right? And come to and go back to sleep, right? And again, right? The final time, and then wake up the next morning, right? If I don't recall putting on 3 or 9, that's what I mean, right? Yes, it is. And a conspiracy, right, is the person who's blacking me out. They're the ones who knows they blacked me out, but they're lying about it, right? That's the conspiracy. That's the sabotage, right? I can't remember why the TV is on 3 or 9, or if 1 person did it, 2 people did it, or even 3 people were involved, right? And then the third person is the last person. And then when I woke up the next morning, I don't know how it got on 903. And then go back to 35, and it's way up there, right? And then 265, right? Which I do know I was on those two channels yesterday. Because this Sunday, and I was watching the church channels. Per norm. See, I'm trying to teach you how to have church at home alone, right? If you have to, right? Is that wrong? If the churches are not teaching what you're teaching, you got to come out from among them and be separate, saith the Lord, right? Two cannot walk together unless they be agreed, and if you're unequally yoked together with an unbeliever, it's going to cause strife, right? That's what was happening with not just Lincoln Baptist Temple, but Christian Fellowship Church, too, right? I was unequally yoked together with unbelievers who were not willing to see the seven seals with me, right? But I can see it myself, right? So I'm trying to show those who want to see it, but if you don't want to, I can't make you either, right? That's what a prophet does too, right? A prophet ain't heard by his generation usually, right? And even after, they still might not want to hear this, right? For the next 1,000 years until Jesus actually will return, right? And it's within 400 to so much percentage of that day that is shortened anyway, right? It's got to be less than 50% because that's 500 years, right? Come on, right? But somewhere between, say, 500 to 200, or right, during the next millennia, right, Jesus will return, right? But that's why no one can tell you the specific day. If he comes 150 years after, how long is that? Well, that's 15% of the day that he returned by, right? 10% is 100, if it is 1,000, right? 20% is 200, right? Again. So 100 or more is 900 years after. Now, right? He may return, right? This year, 2026 or 27, right, is 2,000 years after he died, right? According to both calendars, or all the calendars. See, the thing about the Jewish calendar is they do line up the best they can with the solar calendar, right? And no, they got to add a few more months every 3 to 7 years, right? Right, or again, right. You got to put another month in, right? So that's all, right? Now, a prophetic calendar is strictly 30 days, like the rotation of the sun itself, right? Now, this is just common knowledge that they know now, but we didn't know then, right? We also come up with a bigger word vocabulary in the English dictionary and other dictionaries to create new words. Airplane was always in existence. But yet in Peru, they found an airplane-shaped object, right? Before they came out with the jet airplane. And it looked like a jet airplane, actually, right? In my opinion, right? It's like a jet, right? Not just a, Boeing or, right? Really, it looks like a fighter pilot, fighter plane, right? Like maybe the F-16 or the F-15 even, right? More the F-16, but like I said, right? That's the Air Force, by the way. But it kind of looks like an F-16. A little different, though, with the cockpit. And so that's towards the wings, right? It's got a little cockpit. That's kind of like an old plane, right? The cockpit, right? area, right? But it's the wings are like an F-16, right? Not a commercial airline, right? Right. If you've seen it, right? But see, then you don't want to know, right? I have to know, right? What you don't want to know, right? And what you calling gibberish is because you can't handle the truth, right? I can't help that. It ain't my fault. That's yours. See, when you are told something and you don't want to listen, that's stubbornness, not faith, right? It's the very definition of the word, right? You refuse to admit Daddy was wrong, or Mommy was wrong, or your church is wrong, right? Right. That's not faith, by the way, right? It's really stubbornness, like Satan taught you in Eden, right? That's what the Gnostics were talking about, right? Only the serpent would think that fall was a good idea. Not God and Jesus. And will blame God and Jesus for free will to do it, right? What do you think they're doing, right? If you really read it, it makes more sense than you think, right? Right. At first glance of what they're telling the Orthodox believers too, right? About it, right? They're adopting the mind of Satan that, again, Christ has to be male or female, right? Right. When he can be both, right? That's the third image that men are hiding from us, right? Oh, right. Even the Hindus don't fully do it with Shiva, right? But Shiva's the only lord that has both breasts of a man and a woman, right? That's still androgyny, though, right? And then he can become a different version of Lord Shiva and Parvati, which is his female consort, right?